Hopefully today you can see a unique perspective from a personal side of who I am. Look at my core values, my background, and what gives me drive. I'll start off with my early years and how growing up on a farm gave me a good work ethic. I want to then show you the value the Marines did to me and how it transformed me and got me back on track. The importance of family is to me and the role I play with them, including my dog Everett. I want to close with travel and how the people and culture let me look at things through a different lens. Up to about the 4th grade, I grew up on a small farm. Actually, the field I'm standing in right now was part of my grandparents' larger dairy farm right next door. I used to play in these fields all the time as a kid. But growing up on a farm isn't all fun and games. There's a lot of chores to be done. One of my primary roles was taking care of our 2 pigs. That meant feeding, watering, hosing them down, staying away from that electric fence, and shoveling. Well, I'm sure you pretty much know what pigs lie around in all day. Once my family left the farm, we moved around quite a bit. But this place has always been home to me. Whenever I move into a new house, one of the first things I do is hang an aerial photo of these farms up on the wall. It tends to ground me and remind me of the work ethic that I got as a young kid. I've always seemed to have one job or another. Paper routes, working as a cook at McDonald's, and then working on my father's construction crew during high school. After a couple of winters of lugging heavy frozen boards around, I realized that was not the career for me. Unfortunately, I was not going to be carrying on the family business. I was also goofing around in school too much. I wasn't showing up at class, hanging out with the wrong people, going to breakfast a little bit too much. My grades just weren't where they should be. It wasn't because I didn't have the ability. I just lacked the motivation and drive. And then my senior year, I was in a junior achievement class, and we bought shares of a company. But not just any company, a company that we would build. We came up with an idea, set a strategy, and then implemented it. Our idea was melting down chocolate and putting them into molds of seasonal shapes. I was hustling this chocolate all the time. Lunchtime, after school sports programs, any class I could ditch. I was also involved in a lot of the other marketing, and the other areas is actually the production and molding this. It just overcame me. I found something that I could be passionate about once again. I only had 2 options left. Go to community college and try to repair what I've done. I figured I'd probably goof around though. Or go into the military. Well, I chose the military. The United States Marine Corps was the most significant influencer in my life. It took a confused, misguided teenager and transformed me into a man. I directly relate the successes I've been able to have in life to those 4 years. It was more than just giving me ambition and drive to be the person I am today. I had a lot of fun. I went to weddings, parades, and Marine Corps balls. And that was just the stuff I dressed up for. We had a lot of fun in the mud, or jumping out of the back of helicopters, or shooting weapon systems only some people could imagine. It was also about the friendships, the bonds that I created. I still talk to some of those Marines 25 years later. The majority of the time that I was in the Marines, I was assigned to a special operations unit. We would deploy to emergency situations throughout the world. One of my primary roles was a close quarter combat operator. A lot of people would call us a SWAT team. This is a highly stressful situation, and we need to be able to react and make quick decisions. The person on your left or your right relied on you to know your job, and they trusted you that you were going to get the job done. Same thing, I had to be able to trust the people that were beside me, that they'd do their job. Sometimes we'd be going into situations where it was smoky, confusing, high energy. So it's always something that you had to be on your toes for. And the way we practiced was to train. We constantly trained. If we were on the firing range during the day, we'd go back to our barracks at night and train even more. If we were deployed and we were on a ship, we'd be firing off the back of the ship. There was always a way that we could try to improve our skills in unique situations. It just wasn't about the time that we spent training. One of our mottos was practice doesn't make perfect, perfect practice makes perfect. It's looking at the time that you spent that you were useful, that you used it to the best advantage you could. Another role that I had while I was assigned to this unit was a rappel master. I was responsible for training and deploying Marines off the sides of buildings and out of helicopters. It was a lot about trust. Sometimes I'd be taking new members to our team that maybe had a fear of heights or heavy gear that they've never gone down a building with, and making sure they felt confident that they could be able to exercise their jobs as need be. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of energy and a lot of responsibility to make sure that my Marines were safe. The core values and the leadership that I got was instrumental in my future endeavors. So Everett's the family I come home to at night. He's a 2.5-year-old Weimaraner and just full of energy. He likes going on long runs with me, and pretty much anything I want to do, Everett's game for. He's just such a good companion to be able to have in my life. A few years ago, I made a decision to slow down my career and take a reassessment of what's important to me, and he was just a major part of that. On a bigger picture, family is a huge part of my life. I'm the unifier. I'm the one that tries to keep everybody together in my family. A few years ago, I got everybody together for the first time, cousins that have never traveled together at all, and we went down to Hilton Head. Just an amazing trip to have everybody together. One of the memories that I'll always have from that trip was coffee in the morning with my father. Before everybody got up, the two of us would just sit at the table and chat, talk about life, and just reconnect and get reacquainted with what's going on with each other's lives. He was the person that really taught me about relationships and how to treat people. Unfortunately, 2 months after that trip to Hilton Head, he passed away. My dad was such a major role in my life, with teaching me that work ethic, when building houses, and just all of the friendships that he had, and how much of an impact he had on people's lives. He was just a very important person. One of my passions is travel. I enjoy not only seeing the tourist sites, but also meeting the people and experiencing their culture. Unfortunately, one of my biggest weaknesses is the ability to pick up new languages. It's just something I haven't been able to do. When I was on my semester abroad for my undergraduate degree in the Netherlands, I was invited to go back to a family's house in Hamburg. There, the father spoke German and English, the mother spoke German and Spanish, so it was very difficult speaking with the mom. But through the translations of her family, I was able to have a couple of good laughs and some good stories. I've been able to enjoy about 3/4 of the United States in over 20 countries. It's nice to be able to broaden my horizons and get outside my comfort zone and see how other people live. When I was in my executive MBA class, our trip took our travel down to Brazil. We first went to Sao Paulo, and we got to see how incredible the city is. But amazing was the rush hour traffic, and how it just bogs everything down. We next went to Rio. We had armed security guards bring us into favelas, and we got to talk to shop owners and cafe owners. They talked to us about how these microloans are helping them expand their businesses. My next big trip is to Cuba. I'll be traveling on a sailboat for part of the time, but then I also get to 6 different cities, and at the end, do a half marathon in Havana. Until then, I'll be studying, doing some more research, and doing one of the things I really enjoy, eating ice cream. Thank you again for the opportunity to share more of who I am from a personal side. I hope it's been educational, and you've enjoyed seeing where I've come from, what drives me, and where I'm going.